going on, everyone? This is Mike Brown, and I am doing my very first episode of Out of the Park 18, playing as the general manager and manager of the Minnesota Twins. And let's get the season underway. Some of the things that I really want to look at now to build on in the future is the starting rotation and the bullpen. Those two areas have been very lackluster during the past couple of seasons. The Twins have been in rebuilding mode for the past 5 or 6 years, and in real life this year again they're back in rebuilding mode. So in doing so, I believe I will try to quickly simulate through very first season. Might not do a whole lot of changing around, just kind of looking at what the who I can sign now in the off season. I'll probably be looking for people who can be future players that I can build around, and it doesn't look like I'm seeing anyone I like. Another place I'm going to check quite frequently throughout the season is through the waiver wire, and I'll definitely be boosting my cash. 1 million right there. That does not look good for me. I kind of feel comfortable with the 10 to 15 million dollar range for cash available, so I may move some pieces around. My strategy generally during the trading process is I'll trade for players, and then I'll try and get to squeeze as much cash as I can per some of these trades without trying to have to give up too many big pieces. But depending on how the season progresses, I may move some players around. The farm system for the Minnesota Twins isn't that great, to be honest. You have the one catcher in Murphy, Young Ho Park. He's not doing well. You look here at the Double A. This is where we have some really good players with Birdie. Nick Gordon's our number one prospect right now. We look in the Single A. We have a couple players. Nothing too spectacular. If we look down below, not seeing anyone. So I may have to address the starting pitching bullpen during the draft, and may have to make some trades as well. I am going to be focusing on mostly pitchers through the draft, so I can start building those guys up in the next 3 or 4 years to come. Right now, I'll probably be in a rebuilding mode, much similar to the Chicago White Sox, and yeah, looks like the Twins and White Sox will be the only two teams really trying to trade players. And it also kind of depends on how the season progresses. There's been some saves where I'll simulate through the entire first season and we end up in first place, and then there's other times where I'm 30 games back behind first place. So yeah, this is my kind of introduction to the YouTube world. This is my very first episode. I'm just kind of showing everyone what my strategies are, how deal with trades, what I like to see in the trade processes. Right now, I'm just going for players who I can build around, some young stars, some Lucas Giolito, and probably, let's see, I know the Pittsburgh Pirates pitching is really good, so I might be looking at Glassnow might be too much. There's another pitcher here if I can find him. Kid out of Cedar Rapids. Very well spoken kid. Ooh, Max Kranick. He might be something of use. I might keep him in mind. Let me just look him up here. I'm not sure where he's exactly sitting. Alright, so he's with the Bradenton Marauders. Mitch Keller. He's got good changeup, good curveball, fastball, all above average. is for what his potential is. His control is average. Movements, average. Stuffs, average. It could be above average. That's what the head scouts looking at, and OSA ratings are giving him some better numbers here. I might be going for some pitchers like this, but it also kind of depends on who I can move around, so on and so forth. I know a lot of the bullpen players I have. Actually, let's see. Look at the disabled list. Yeah. So I have Glenn Perkins, who's out for 4 months. Ryan Ulrich, he's out for an entire year. Tommy John, Trevor May, he's out with the same injury. So really not worth to invest now to go big in the very first season. I'd like for that to happen, but I just want to see. I want to build for the future. I don't want to win now and then rebuild again. So yeah, it looks like we have a lot of players right now on the disabled list. So yeah, I'll simulate until first year player draft, and then from there, depending on how the team goes, is where I'll shift my focus. Whether should bail out from rebuilding and just make for a postseason push, or focus on rebuilding. As of now, I don't feel comfortable with the starting rotation I have now to really make my team go for a push. I have Santana here, who's getting up there in age. He's also making 13.5 million. I want to see if I can maybe push him in for a future star. Phil Hughes, he might be another player I might add to the mix. Players I want to build around. Jose Barrios, he's one guy I would like to build my team around, kind of build some other younger stars. Kinsler, he might be a good trading option as well, just because he's signed through only this year, so I might be able to get some use out of him. Let's see if I finish today. Let's see, what is the owner? How would you like to see? So play close to 500 ball this season, upgrade at shortstop this season, and sign Brandon Kitzler to an extension. See, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. What's he asking for? Okay, 8 million. That's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. See, yeah, I don't think I can do that because right now my budget and cash available are just bottom trash. So what I'd like to do is I might just make a push, move some big salary caps over before I make a sign Kinsler. The thing is I don't want to wait too long into the season to sign him on, because he may or may not spike up his contract offer, and I really am nervous of signing a closer to a deal this big. So I may have to move some players over to obtain more cash early on, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thanks everyone for watching the first episode, and let's see how everything else comes together. All right.